What's the worst outcome? The one you're the most afraid of?
Yeah, that people think I'm weak and that I'm scared, that they see my fear and my...
What fear?
The fear of not being liked, not being... Yeah, actually the fear of being rejected.
When did that kick in? Can you remember? You weren't born that way?
In my history, I think around 5 or something, or 4, because I moved from my mother to my father, and so that's the first thing, so I didn't grow up with her. And my father once said that she didn't like me, so as a young child that was what I thought was reality, because I believed him. And so I grew up kind of believing that my mother doesn't like me. So, and I think that's why I'm scared of,
How do you feel about yourself as a person?
It's split. It's like there's this one part where I love myself, where I am confident because I'm growing and I'm caring, but there's also this other part where I'm like complete chaos and very shy, very social phobic, and yeah, so it's like really...
I'm the part of you that holds you back.
Yes.
I'm the part of you that makes you anxious. What do you want to tell me?
I would like to cut you off. I cannot do it. It's like, yeah.
That's what holds you back.
I'm scared.
Of what?
Of showing hate, of hurting actually you then. I'm scared of chaos, and I don't want to lose control.
Why don't you trust yourself? Deep breaths. Breathe into it. Why don't you trust yourself?
I don't have a reference to it. Like, I have no grip to it.
When did you lose trust?
Yeah, I think when I was 4.
What happened?
I had to move in another city and didn't see my mother. I saw her a few times a year. And so someone fell off, and I didn't, just shook me. So.
How did you cope? How did you survive?
Not paying attention to my feelings, kind of, but at the same time just focusing on my feelings, just in my internal world.
So you take that chaotic version of yourself. Could you forgive me?
The chaos?
I'm that chaos. Can you forgive me? Can you welcome me back? Can you trust me?
No, I don't trust you.
Why?
Because you showed me so many situations where I experienced pain and chaos, and you are not safe to me. You make me feel very insecure. So.
Did pushing me away help?
No, made it worse.
So why not welcome me back?
Yes. But
what sensations, feelings kick in when you hear me ask you, can you give me a second chance?
I'm scared, because I'm wondering how can chaos be trusted. It's like I cannot believe it. Like, it's, yeah.
Did you ever try give me a second chance?
Like in the last months, I'm trying to let you in, but it's like I'm very careful. Like on one moment I say, yes, I'm accepting my insecurities, and then I feel kind of strong in it. But this shell, like I'm putting up, it sometimes makes me feel more secure. So, but it's still not secure, so it actually doesn't bring anything.
Do you feel pretty lonely?
Sometimes, yes. Sometimes massive, but most of the time I feel kind of connected to life. So I'm...
Just not yourself.
Huh?
just not yourself.
No, also to me. It's like,
What about me?
not to you so much. Yes.
So not to yourself.
Not fully, but like not 100%, yes. Maybe 50%. Yes.
Okay.
But it's right, I need to, because you won't go away. So I need
I'm
to.
you.
Yes.
Whatever you resist
Yeah.
persists.
This is,
So this is key.
yeah.
We do this with parts of ourselves, with emotions, usually at a young age. We have this label of this is good, this is bad. Happiness as an emotion is good, right? We're like, oh, you're my favorite. Think of that as your kids, right? So think of your emotions, feeling happy. Oh, you're my favorite kid. Come here, happiness. Oh, excitement. Come on here. What about fear? Fear, bad kid. Get in the corner, fear. Fuck you, fear. You're beating up fear. That's what you're all doing. That's what you did.
Yes.
The part of you that's a little bit more chaotic or perhaps creative. Chaos, get in the corner. Fuck you, chaos. And you've been doing that your entire life. So cruel to you. Anger, fuck you. And then you're like, well, why don't I feel great and whole? Why don't all my kids love me? And they're like crying in the corner. You're spitting on them, throwing rocks at them. Then you might find out about letting go. You're like, oh, this Julien guy says, welcoming them back and reowning them. And then what changes? You're like, hey, fear, come on, let daddy give you a hug. What's fear going to do? No, daddy. Is it going to trust you? What about chaos? Hey, chaos, come on. Trust me, come on. Sit on daddy's lap, chaos. Nothing's going to happen. I'm not going to beat you again. Come on. Is it going to trust you? Yes or no? No. Of course not. That's the process of letting go. You've been hating chaos, the chaotic version of you. You've been like, Zoe, chaotic Zoe, bah, bah, bah. So cruel. And they're like, well, why don't I feel whole? You have that inner child inside crying, beaten, abused, and you've been doing it.
Yeah.
No wonder you're in pain. No wonder you don't feel connected. No wonder you feel insecure. So it's changing the approach. Away from beating parts of yourselves, which we all do, we're all conditioned this way, to reowning and loving. And it means turning to those inner demons that you created and saying, you know what, I'm sorry, I welcome you back. Might take time, but by welcoming them back, that's you become whole. And it's your resistance to being that fucks you up inside.
Before I came here, like I have these thoughts of like scenarios that what all could go wrong. Should I, when I welcome my fear, like, because what I used to do now for a time with like positive mindset and stuff was creating situations in my mind where I like felt like everything was going great and stuff. And sometimes that worked, but I was also like pushing the fear away. So my question is, should I, when those scenarios come, what should I do? Because I'm scared of manifesting those scenarios, you know? Like.
Yep, so very common. I'll give you two answers. One is if you're someone, this is for all of you, if you feel terrible, you're completely scared, thinking positive thoughts, by all means, go for it. That gives you a good grip on reality. If you're just like completely terrified, just being like, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, go for it. But also realize, who's someone who needs to keep telling themselves it's okay? Someone who doesn't feel okay. Who needs to think positive thoughts? Someone who's thinking negative thoughts. And also things you're trying to run away from, or like, I'm scared if I think it, I'll manifest it. You're already thinking it right now. It's in your subconscious, it's out of your awareness, it's on repeat. You're resisting it and it's amplifying. So the actual approach is sinking into those fears. This is what I have my clients do. I'm like, sink into those fears. The fear of not being good enough, the fear of being afraid, the fear of being seen, the fear of being stuck, of being alone. What comes up? And you're going to get triggered. You're going to feel those sensations. And then by letting go, you free yourself. That is the way. It's sinking into, and this is the big shift in self-help spirituality. Everyone's like chasing positivity, running away from themselves. It's no. Enough with that. What about stopping, turning around and diving into that part of yourself and becoming whole. Dive into those little fears, those inner demons. That is the way.
What do you think about if you feel fear in the moment, you actually face that thing you're afraid of? Because I did that a couple of times and that really helped me build confidence.
Won't help in the long run.
Why don't...
That's progressive desensitization. Yeah. People try to desensitize themselves to getting triggered instead of letting go of being triggered. It's better than nothing. It'll help you in the short term, but as soon as you stop doing that, you're back to ground zero.
True.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's like, I always make fun of it, where it's like, what's your solution? You're going to be like doing anxiety challenges till you're 80. It's like, okay, grandkids, grandpa's going to go out to do his anxiety challenges to stay confident. It's a terrible strategy.
Let's go.
Right? It's better than nothing, to be fair. So it has its merit. What I personally do is I love social anxiety challenges. The difference is when my clients do it, they do it to trigger themselves. Like you coming up here, you feel triggered. It's kicking in right now. You have two options. One is go to my happy place. Ignore the feeling and you're moving away from yourself. That's the key. Moving away from you, desensitizing versus diving right into those feelings, moving into it, processing it and releasing it. If you move into, you free yourself. Move away from it, it'll keep chasing you and running you in your life. One exercise I would give all of you, which is very common in self-help, but here's a very different approach, is every day, for say the next 30 days, do a cold shower. But not in the sense of cold shower, and this is what most people do. It's like, okay, I'm gonna turn on the cold, and you're like, here we go. Me versus the cold, bah, and you get into the cold. And you're fighting the cold. You're resisting it. You're tensing up to it. No. See how relaxed you can get into the cold. That's the challenge. And you'll probably sense your body go like, a little relaxed, tense again. A little relaxed, relax into it. That same approach when letting go to the sensations that get triggered, like, oh, that tenseness, that hurt, our default is to resist it and stuff it back down. Versus relax into it, honor yourself, move into yourself, and feel. That is the way.